Welcome to the Simple Idea Podcast. My name is Makai Green, and this is a podcast on self-growth and personal development. Every week, my goal is to share my struggles and my successes with the aim to improve along the way. Each episode focuses on valuable life lessons and personal learning experiences that I hope will positively influence and inspire you. With the introduction out of the way, let's get into this next episode. Welcome back, guys. It's been a while, and last week's episode went up, so you already saw that. But once again, I was gone due to some marketing tactics, but that's all squared away now, so we're back to a regular schedule and a consistent show. Today's episode is going to be focusing on forming a morning routine, and it's a bit of a spin-off from last week's episode, or last episode's focus, which talked about expression. So if you haven't heard that already, head back to episode 8 and check that out, and then come back and listen to this one. But let's start off with just, hopping right into this, as I usually tend to do. And I do want to talk about creating time for yourself. I highly encourage people to create time for themselves, because most of us are overly concerned with other people and the fires that they have going on in their lives and how we can tend to those fires, but we don't tend to our own. And really, it's fine to service other people, and we should be doing it. And I think we should live in a world where, we're reciprocating action. So it's fine to service people, but we need to service ourselves. Otherwise, we're actually disservicing those people that we're servicing. Self-love should be mandatory, and it's something that we need to pay attention to. It's something that kind of gets lost in the mix most of the time. And I want that to be something that doesn't get lost. It doesn't make any sense to hurt ourselves to help other people if we can help ourselves and help other people. So for me, this is coming in the form of creating a morning routine. And there isn't any one defined template for what this thing is, but I'm going to paint you a picture of how I go about completing my morning routine, or what my routine consists of. But just the overall general premise of what a routine should be, sort of. So every day, you need to make time for yourself. You need to carve out a block of time, and that block of time is strictly for you and nobody else. So I would argue, 15 to 30 minutes, and I know everybody's schedule is different, and people have different things going on. Some people have, kids they have to worry about dropping off to school, or they have to wake up early for a job. Everybody's different. Everybody has their own situation, and I'm very much aware of that, and that's fine. But if you're able to, and at the end of the day, if you listen to the last episode, people make time for what they want to make time for. So assuming you're able to make time, you should have a block of time carved out that is strictly devoted to you and you alone. Nobody else gets that time, only you. And that time should, be between 15 and 30 minutes, and it should be something that is practiced religiously every single day with no days off. This routine that you have and this time that you carve out needs to be a time of zero interruption, where nobody that it doesn't matter what's going on, it doesn't matter if, Billy Bob Joe lost his arm and he can't find it, it doesn't matter if, a truck ran through your ceiling, none of that matters. What matters right now in this situation, in this time that is your time, is that you spend it servicing yourself. What this is meant to do is, it just helps you find peace within a busy day, and it helps set the tone for how the rest of your day is going to play out. Having a routine is good in most things, and the reason why I want to stress this morning routine, and more specifically carving out a block of time in the morning, is because a morning determines the rest of how your day goes, and it's a mental thing. So if you can start the day off strong mentally and emotionally, it would make sense to do that. Yeah, you could have this time block later in the day, but it won't have the same effect. Really, what you need to do in this time is to find some type of productive or meaningful habit to help you form a routine. And it doesn't matter what it is, but to paint a picture, I'll give you an idea of what I do every morning. And this is my routine. And I do want to stress that my routine does not need to be your routine. It's, special to me, and it is what it is because I enjoy doing these things, and they give me some happiness and just a sense of peace in the morning. But more specifically, my routine. So what I do every morning is I wake up at 6 to 6:30-ish a.m. As of the past week, it's been kind of scattered, and I haven't been as focused on what time I wake up. So it's been anywhere between 6 and 7:30, no later than 8. but you get the picture I'm painting here. I wake up between 6 and 6:30. Immediately as soon as I wake up, what I do is I drink some water. I typically wake up a little dehydrated, and I drink a lot of water as it is, so it's just good to get some water into my system as soon as I wake up. After I drink some water, I hop out of bed and I start a little mini morning workout just to get my blood flowing. Typically, what I'll do is I'll do some push ups, I'll do some calf raises, and then I'll do some sit ups. And like I said, that just gets my blood flowing, it wakes me up, and it has me feeling a little, juiced up and just pretty much just feeling good, which is, it's hard to feel good in the morning, it's hard to be alert and awake, and that kind of just helps me do that. This next thing that I do, every day I read between 10 and 20 pages a day. Most of the time it isn't in the morning, and this is something that I want to implement. Just because it'd be really peaceful to read in the morning. It's just something I want to do, and I haven't done that yet, but sometimes I do. It's just not consistent enough for me to say that it's always in my routine, but as of now, it should be, and I'm working on it. So I might sound like a little bit of a hypocrite, but you get the picture that I'm painting here. So after I read my 10 to 20 pages, and like I said, that varies, I decide to make a light breakfast. And this whole idea of eating breakfast is fairly, or very, very new to me, actually. What I used to do is I would neglect to eat in the morning, and I would kind of just starve, and it sucked. And I had no reason to not eat, I just wouldn't. I kind of just made the excuse of, oh, I don't have time, or I'd rather sleep an extra 15 to 20 minutes, or every other excuse to not eat. But I decided to start making breakfast this year in the morning, and it's honestly made a huge difference in my day, and it kind of affects me in a ton of different ways that I really never thought about. But generally I'm pretty happy in the morning now because I ate. So a small change like that really has been able to make my day that much better, and just by eating food. So that's something that I also do during my morning routine. But with the food I eat, it's like I said, it's light, so I'll usually eat some oatmeal or fruit, an egg, something along those lines, just to fill me up a bit, give me some energy, and just keep me moving throughout my day. And then lastly, and this is something that kind of occurs throughout my entire day, but I will listen to music in the morning and or a podcast. It kind of depends, but that's basically what my morning routine consists of. Those are things that I do every single day, usually in that order, and it gets done. And during that time, it's uninterrupted every time. Nobody bothers me. Nothing stops me from doing it. I don't check my phone. Nothing. Like, nobody else matters during that block of time, because that block of time is for me and nobody else. That's a time for me to service myself. It's a time for me to care about things that I care about, because for the rest of the day, I'm going to have to care about things that other people care about, and I might not necessarily really agree with, but they have to get done. So this is why this block of time is valuable. It's because it allows you to reclaim a piece of you that typically goes ignored or lost throughout the course of a day, where you're servicing other people. And I don't want to make it seem like the idea of helping other people or servicing other people or, worrying about other things outside of yourself is bad, because that's not the case. But I think there needs to be a healthy balance, and from what I've seen thus far, until this point in my life at least, I'm gonna sit here and say self-love kind of goes under the radar, or just self-care. So that's where this routine comes into play, and this is a lot of emphasis on this, just so that we're all clear here. There is no right or wrong routine. This just happens to be what I do to help me prepare for my day, and just stuff that makes me feel good, things that make me happy. So really what you have to do is find whatever comes natural to you, find the right fit, find what's right for you. Do things that you enjoy, or things that provide you with peace, happiness, things that when you do, you just get like this overwhelming sense of joy, and you just want to continue to do it. Things that you typically wouldn't be able to do throughout the rest of your day because you're worried about other people and their fires that they have going on. Make sure that you're worried about your fires, and make sure that you're uninterrupted. Make sure you're fully committed to this idea of, self-care, because you deserve it just as much as the people that you're around. And I do highly recommend that you experiment and create something unique to you. You don't have to look at online to see what other people are doing, or, just sit back, relax, take a second to brainstorm, think about it, and just find something that you enjoy, something that only you will care about, something that is just so special to you that every morning you look forward to it because that's your time. Um, and another thing, interruptions are something that you should not accept at all. Like, this block of time is meant for you and you alone. And I'm sure all of us are pretty selfless individuals, but we also need to be selfish. And it's good to be selfish, especially, when there is some type of regulation with that selfishness. It's obviously bad to be selfless all the time, or it's bad to be selfish all the time. But you need to find that equal balance where it kind of gives you, a sense of ease. You don't feel like you're outdoing or overdoing, just overdoing everything, where it's to the point where you just feel like you're not in tune with yourself. So make sure that you are in tune with yourself. Make sure that you care for yourself as much as you care for other people. It's a time for you to worry about your health, and time for you is healthy. So don't think it's not. Don't think of this as a bad thing because you're not answering somebody's call, or you're not, worried about the person up the street who needs help, or don't worry about that. This is a time for you. It's okay to be selfish. It's all about moderation. And this, 15 to 30 minute block of time in your day is time for you because you need it to. I do want to close out the episode there, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode a lot, actually. I hope you also encourage other people to maybe try out forming a routine on top of you forming a routine yourself. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how you do it. As long as it's a block of time that's devoted to you, that's all that matters. And as long as it gives you some motivation to carry out the rest of your activities or tasks throughout the day, that's all that matters. But like I said, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend, and definitely subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts at. It would be much appreciated. And if you guys could also leave a review, that also helps out the podcast a lot because it lets me know what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. And all feedback should be honest, just so that I'm able to improve the show over time. But definitely subscribe, share, whatever you have to do with the podcast, whatever you feel is necessary. And don't forget to, start that morning routine. That's really important, and self-love and self-care is just as important, especially for yourself. It's cool to care for other people, but you need to care for yourself as well. I mentioned earlier in the episode that the episodes before were kind of infrequent, and it was due to marketing tactics. But we're back, and episodes are every Friday at 12 p.m. noon Eastern Standard Time, and that's not changing anytime soon. I want to mention that you can actually stay up to date with episodes if you head over to thesimpleideapodcast.com and you sign up for my weekly newsletter. And with the weekly newsletter, essentially what that is I'll send out an email once a week, and that email will be about the focus of that week's episode. So say I'm talking about, I don't know, living under bridges with, Oprah or something. I'll pretty much just fill you in on the details of that episode and what I'm talking about and the topics and any other valuable information that you guys could benefit from. And it'll be in a weekly email, nothing too crazy. It won't be spammy, it won't be invasive. I'm personally not a fan of that style of emailing, so you won't ever get anything like that from me. But you will get notified, and I just want to make sure you guys are aware of new episodes because I can't depend on these different podcast directories to push my content, but I know that I will push it, so that's why I have a newsletter now. So definitely head over to the website and check that out. It takes about 2 seconds to sign up for, and it should be on the bottom of the page. But with that said, that's all I have for you guys today, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your week.